In a moment. Good evening, everybody. Hello. Andreas here from Asia Mind Dynamics. You do know me. I like to be here. It's our Facebook live session, and yes, we are on today with a session of if you don't run your mind, someone else will sure do it for you. So today we discuss about the different ways of how people actually use your mind to reach their goals and what can you do about it. But let's get started for today. Beautiful song, of course. Steve Jobs was saying actually, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. And that saying is, hey Millie, that's saying good evening to you. That quote is so absolutely true. And that is what we are going to talk about. What can you do if somebody else is running your mind, if someone else is running your life? Where is it coming from? How do you discover it? What can you do about it? Now, if you have dinner now, just keep eating, because I spoke to a friend yesterday. He said like he's always got dinner with his wife during our Facebook live session. Hey, if you have dinner right now, alone or with friends, just let the video play next to you. Maybe something along that line you're picking up and you focus on the video. If not, doesn't matter, you can always watch it later. If you drive your car, don't listen to that video. However, you can also play it along, of course. If you're still at work, hey, it's 8 o'clock, you should be no longer working overall. But if you have to work on something very important, a big project or whatever it is, keep on working. Leave the video running next to you and I can entertain you and you will listen to it from your unconscious level. By way of introduction, my name is Andreas. I'm running a company called Asia Mind Dynamics. And of course, some of you might know me already. It's an NLP training company. And I'm a certified trainer and a master trainer of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. And today we're going to talk about lots of stuff. However, if you along that line hear something you like very much, again, as usual, click the likes button. Because I like likes, you know, just press it now, so I do know that you are listening in, that you are enjoying this video. I hope you do, okay? Also, of course, if you think somebody else should listen to this video, feel free to tag them in the video. Type your friend's name. And next to it, you do this little tail and type your name and the name pop up so they get notified that this video is playing here right now. Do this and I would be very happy. Along that line, of course, ask your questions. Ask as many questions as you want along that line. I'm going to answer your questions of how do you take charge of your mind. Because NLP is about taking charge of your mind, living your life more consciously in a more, desirable manner maybe, all right? And of course, I'm going to show you this one afterwards. All right, okay. So, what are we going to talk about? As I mentioned right now, hey, if somebody else runs your life, how do you identify if somebody actually is running your life? Well, there's a couple of things, you know. For example, you are on your way going home from work, finally having a great evening, wants to go home, and suddenly somebody comes up to you and say, can you just do that quickly for me? I really gonna run off. Or can you come back a bit earlier tomorrow? I want to have a discussion with you. And without pushing back, without saying no, you just agree. That person might go home, they just put the monkey onto your shoulder, Poor monkey, they go home, you do their work. Same thing, of course, as well. If somebody says to you, hey, I want to go, easy example, I want to go there for lunch, let's go there. And they're pushing you along, even if you are absolutely not willing to go there. At that point of time, they run your life. They run your mind. You didn't say no, you didn't say what really is important at that point of time to you. What else is that happening, for example? How many times do we have young adults in our training, in our certified practitioner training, and they're saying like, okay, all the while they were studying so hard because their parents were telling them. They were doing everything their parents were telling them. And nothing wrong with it. Parents sometimes know better, of course. But sometimes the parents say, you got to study this, you got to study that. And then they study, and realize along that line, after the studies or after completion of the university, it's not what they want. Problem. Do you understand? Do you realize there's a problem? Because it is then possible they've spent years and years and years of doing something which is not driving them, not good. At that point of time, the parents were running the child's life. Or many people hanging out with friends, nothing wrong with hanging out with friends. But what will happen, of course, if you just follow the crowd all the time, not putting your own will up there, you're just part of the crowd. The crowd is running your life. You know those situations, okay? You want to hang out with your friends, you go out, you be in the crowd, and it's a good time, but somewhere inside of you, you might realize, do I really want to be here? That's not quite me, but I just follow along because what shall I do? I just do. Somebody else took charge of your mind. They were running your life. You're part of your life at that point of time. Sometimes you might hang out as well in a pub or in a club. And people, drastically speaking, get drunk and they're filling up your glass and they're filling up your glass, and you might feel obliged to just follow through. They took charge of your life. Many times in companies nowadays, also we have that many times when we do corporate trainings, that people come to us, and they're saying they're not able to push back. They are just too nice. They want to be a team player. They don't want to look bad. But somebody else is always dumping work onto them, and they can't push back. And they're knowing exactly, I shouldn't do this. It's not my job requirement. It's not my job scope. Nothing wrong with that. If it's in agreement that it's your job scope for future development. But some people just dump down stuff onto you. Not delegating. Dumping down stuff onto you. And you are unhappy. You don't want to have it. It's not part of you. You're spending the hours. You're feeling bad about it. But you're just not able to push back. Somebody else took charge of your mind. If you agree with me so far that this is quite a big issue overall, hey, that will be something you really need to learn about. How do you push back? How do you say no to somebody who is like pushing back? What do you need to do? It is not a problem, of course, if you really like the work you're getting, if you really like to hang out with the crowd. That's fine then. Absolutely. If you just say, hey, tonight I'm just following the crowd, I don't know anything else to do, I'm having fun, and they just decide what we shall do and I just follow through, no idea anything else to do, that's absolutely fine, because it is part of life as well. We don't need always to decide and to be in charge. And sometimes it's just okay to go with the flow. If it's always happening, then it's time for you to really look back inside your head and realize what could go on. What is somewhere in your life that is not quite functioning in a manner that you are not able to push back. The example I gave you earlier, really important. You know, when you were in that situation, you are working and you want to, and people dump work onto you, and other people come up, and then you get included into meetings, into project work that is part and parcel of somebody else's goal, and you become then, now listen carefully, you become part of their goal. It's not about your goal anymore. It's not about your KPI, key performance indicator. It is part of somebody else's goal. You are part of their goal. You are part of their life. And that means they are running your life. They are running your life. Is that really what you want? I believe it should not be like this. Well, it's a shorter Facebook Live today because, hey, we are nearly halfway through. So again, hey, if you think somebody else is running your life, you should stand up and make your point. And I'm sharing with you in a moment what you can do. But of course, if you know somebody else who should listen to this video, share it. Share that video, invite them over, tag them in the comment box, give me a like, allow other people to listen into this one here, because it's an important topic. When other people run your life and you're not aware of it and you actually feel bad about spending too much time on something that is not part of you, then you are here in the right position right now to listen into me, because I'm going to share with you now what actually you should be aware of it. But of course, there's nothing wrong again with you following through, helping somebody else if you like it, or if you want to be just a part of a team and have fun hanging out with friends and you're just enjoying the time. There's nothing wrong with it. It gets critical, however, and let me flip over to the next section. It gets a little bit critical if you realize the question, do you really, or if you say to yourself, do I really want this? Is this part of me right now? Do I want to do this job? Do I want to hang out longer than intended earlier? Is it something that brings me something? Do I hang out here right now only because of my friends are there? Do I do this project because somebody else asked me to do and I don't know why I'm actually doing it? I have no buy-in per se. Ask yourself the question, if something like this is happening, do you really want this? Secondly, of course, and here we're going into the discovery of your own inner self. Because somewhere along that line, it is most likely a program running in your mind that tells you that you have to help other people, that you can't push back, that you feel bad, guilty of not being a team player, guilty of pushing back, not feeling good about yourself if you're standing up and say no. So, but how do you feel? Honestly, how do you feel when you always chip in for others? Not sure the chip in is the right one. Well, how do you feel when you chip in for other people, when you are helping all the time? The moment they're coming up to you and you are helping them immediately, you are willing to do. And you might just go sometimes, if you are happily following, good. But if it's always happening, not so good possibly. Also, of course, you got to ask yourself, inside of you, what would happen to you, to your relationship, if you stop doing it? Because the thing is, if you stop doing it, what will happen? Will you feel bad about it? If you feel bad about it, if you feel guilty when you stop doing it, then start exploring within yourself. Where is that feeling coming from? How did you learn to always help others? Who told you that you always need to help other people? Again, nothing wrong with helping other people. I'm not saying you shouldn't work in a team. Teamwork is really, really important. However, it's about the exploitative situation of your person, of your willingness to help. If other people exploit your goodwill, if other people control what you should think or what goal you should be working on, and if you are kind of like spending an extraordinary amount of time helping other people without being able to take care of yourself, think about it. Is it really something you want? Getting there in just a moment. So what you need to think about really is, first of all, and it's about you as a person, to really dig deep of who you are as a person. Who are you? Really, who are you when people come to you, give you the work? Who would you be? Can also change the question, of course. Who would you be Yeah, that's the next one actually. Who do you want to become overall? Who do you want to become? Do you want to become somebody who is always helping other people, achieving their goal? That's fine. If you're a company man, company woman, and you really give your loyalty to a company, that's also very fine. It's about teamwork. If it's your life, but if you are putting yourself in there and you're aligning yourself to a corporate goal, to a corporate vision, that's good. But again, I always have to reframe that. What happens if there's an exploitative manner of a person or two people or a department or whoever in the company who's always asking you to help along that line and always dumping down work onto you, and you feel bad of not being able to say no. We had a situation of somebody, for example, she was delegating and delegating, but along that line she came back. It's a slightly different story, but along that line she realized, whoa, if I'm delegating, are they really able to follow through? Are they really able to do the work as high a quality as she would do it? So ultimately she walked out and always took the work back, and she was doing it by herself. Up to the point that one day she actually went to somebody, gave the work, delegated it nicely, and that person came to her and said, like, why are you giving it to me in the first place? You can't come back anyway and take it along anyway. Why don't you do it immediately? That's when she woke up and realized, whoa, there's something to work on. I believe you understand the point of view. It's the importance of realizing what is going on within yourself, in your mind, if you push back. If you're guilty or not. Is the relationship you're developing an exploitative relationship or not? So who do you want to become? If you were able to push back and you do your work and you have the time to develop yourself, develop your own skill sets, who do you would become? So if you want to get rid of the guilt and feel good about yourself and developing, working in a team, but on your own will and your own contribution, not forceful, not exploitative. Who do you want to become? Who would you be then? Also, of course, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table if you change? If you do the changes, what is it that you do have within yourself? But also, of course, what do you need to learn to get rid of that guilt inside of you, to get rid of that limiting self-belief that you always need to help? It is not empathy. It is not about helping other people. It is really about you getting exploited. So what do you need to learn to get over this hurdle, to really get it done? So the question really is, who are you if you are no longer guilty, if you are no longer bullied, if you are no longer exploited? Who do you want to become when you are no longer guilty? Who would you be as a person overall? Who is that magnificent, perfect, not perfect, we had another session on perfection already before, but who would you become if you really become you? What do you bring to the table? What have you learned before to really get to that level? And then when you are getting at that point, it's all about gaining clarity. Now, where's my... Okay, there was supposed to be something. Yes, it's below here. I forgot, I didn't bring it up. So let me move this one down and this to the side. It's about gaining clarity about you as a person, learning about yourself. Why is it that you attract people who dump stuff onto you? Why? And not delegate? Why is it that people exploit you? And if you understand yourself of who you are as a person, as a real person, not that exploited person, not a dumped down person, but who are you? And you gain clarity, you're cleaning your mind, you're feeling good about yourself, you're becoming a better person, you become more productive, you become a better team player even, you grow in your KPIs, in your job overall. You do know when to say no, and you do know when to say yes, you do know when to commit, and you do know when you have to withdraw sometimes and push back. And it's always about this ability to push back that is so important to people. So you learn how to run your mind. How is it starting? Some more points along that line. It goes a little bit back to that earlier point that we do have, namely, what's your goal? Who do you want to be? It's a huge topic. Hopefully you realize it, Who do you want to become? Where do you want to be in the future? What would that give you as a person if you develop yourself? What are the limiting beliefs around yourself that you're carrying around so that you need to serve other people constantly? When you get all the clarity around yourself, then you start to create the life you desire and deserve. Then you start to take charge of your life, of your mind. And you are able to push back and develop the boundaries outside of you that other people wouldn't be able to step across anymore and push you back. So I hope you get these different point of views. Now along that line, what I want to share with you, it is still possible for you. Of course, I want you to share this video across your timelines. Well, like us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, it would be wonderful. Join our master group, Master NLP Master Academy. Got lots of stuff going on there. This group is growing slowly so far. Over the last 2 weeks, a bit more rapidly. It would be wonderful if you're joining this group. And then you can access our free course, which should be along that line. Yes. You get your free course at our website, asiaminddynamics.com. There's something called free online training. Go there, sign up, join the crowd, learn about how do you attract success into your life. And I look forward to seeing you next week again on another Facebook Live at a totally different place altogether. So join in next week, Facebook Live, 8 o'clock. This is the site to be in when you want to know about NLP, running your mind, creating your life. Thank you very much and enjoy your evening.